joined as always by my esteemed colleague Justin. It is Stampede week, our favorite week of the year, biggest week of the summer. I know you're very high energy right now. I'm feeling a little low energy, but I'll try to join you on that high energy train.
Yeah. This is, I mean, I told you before we came on here, I was like, I got my only responsibility done. Like, literally, oh, okay, we're popping. Okay, I like see you.
Don't
I'm building you up right now. I'm they call me the Riz. They don't call me the Rizzler for nothing. Okay.
Jesus.
Um, but I got my only responsibility done prior to doing everything this week. I had to cut the grass today. I sucked it up. I didn't want to do it, but I was like, if I push this off till Wednesday afternoon, I'm gonna hate myself. So I was like, doing it today. Got it done. We're done. All responsibilities are done. Booked my hotel for this weekend. That's another story we can probably get into when we get into the Stampede section. But yeah, my favorite week of the year starts with Divot Day tomorrow.
Oh man. Yeah, you've got the only responsibility you had. Unbelievable. I can't even. I'm over here reconstructing the house. I got an all company meeting on my plate.
uh,
This is not necessarily the run up you want to have into the Stampede, but it's the one I've got. So, we're going to make do.
I get it. I get it.
But uh, before we get there, real quick, uh, it's home run derby's happening right now. I don't know what's going on. I'm not paying attention. But Friday night, went to the Reds game with my father-in-law, my oldest, and my oldest nephew. And I've been to so few and far like between games, like baseball games, Reds games specifically, in the last few years. But every time I go, I'm just reminded. I think baseball is honestly, it's the best sport to attend in person.
Oh, by far. I think we
Yeah.
talked about it maybe a long time ago on here, but it's kind of one of those things with like the sounds. You cannot replicate
Mm.
the sounds of the ballpark, right?
Yeah. It's just like you got that low hum, just kind of the buzz that's always kind of going on.
Yep.
You got the vendors calling out for hot dogs and beers. You got the crack of the bat, obviously, the slap of the glove when the pitch hit. Like you're right. It's like a multi-sensory experience when you go to a baseball game.
It definitely is. And then,
And it's
you throw in the
sorry.
hot dogs and beers and
Yeah.
it's not the same at home. Like it really isn't. It is the one thing that it's like NHL might be the same way, but it's like better in person than it is on TV.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like one of the few sports I think that actually is better in person than it is on TV for sure. And it's just maybe it's because I'm getting older, I don't know, but like it's just the right environment. Especially you got kids, like it's just chill. There's stuff for them to do. It's okay if you miss an inning, like it's not the end of the world. Where other sports, you kind of got to lock in and things like that. So
Well,
I
and
don't
I'll
know.
tell you this, we are spoiled in Cincinnati. All our ballpark is very kid friendly. Um, been to a couple ballparks that are not kid friendly. Um, one specifically is the Los Angeles Angels. You would think being right around the corner from Disney that they'd be very kid friendly, but it was there was literally nothing to do for kids. Where we have like a kids area, I think hit wiffle balls, they can play on the play set, run I think to first base. They have like a first base simulation. Like there's
Yeah.
so much stuff for kids to do at our ballpark. We're super spoiled. Not every ballpark's like that, but I get what you're saying. I think it is the easiest thing to take a kid to, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And like I said, it's just the environment, the sounds, all of it is,
Yep.
yeah, midsummer right now. So just wanted to give a shout out to baseball at large.
Yeah, it doesn't get a lot of love. I mean, there's a lot of hate.
Yeah.
A lot of hate towards baseball. I am not one of those people. I could genuinely sit on the couch and watch a full game. I know there's not a lot of people like that, but I'm also one of the people that go to the game and stay for the whole game. Like there's a lot of people
For
like
sure.
I'll go for 5 innings and leave. That's not me. If I'm going, I'm going. I'm staying for the whole game.
Yeah, absolutely. And then it was fireworks Friday night too, so you get a little fireworks show involved. It's great.
Yeah,
Good
the
hang.
Reds skimp on their roster, but they don't skimp when it comes to like doing fun things and having fun events. They had an Old Dominion concert. If anybody knows who that is, country band. They've had a couple concert trains coming in a couple weeks, I think, for a post game concert. They do it right with the promos.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe, I'd give up a few fireworks Fridays if they want to increase the payroll a little bit. That'd be nice, but
Yeah, I will sacrifice
it's fine.
Old Dominion for a bat.
Yeah, 100%. All right, that's enough about baseball. This is going to be a very heavy golf show. If you are out there, please subscribe, rate, and review the show. If you're watching us live, I believe we're up on X, possibly YouTube. Hit the like button, share it with a friend, whatever you got to do. Appreciate all that. And you can always follow us on social media at Back96Back. Some fan mail tonight too. We'll get to that. That link is always down in the show description. You can click that and send something in. So before we get to full Stampede, I mentioned a couple episodes ago, just like wanted to talk more golf with you specifically. Just trying to like dial my own game, right? Like I want to hear some of your thought process around some of these situations I've gotten myself into.
Oh God.
Uh, and this could be bad. I mean, maybe I'll pick up some bad habits. I don't know, but I'm just curious on some of these what you might do. So
Yeah. Well, let me preface this. Okay, I played Friday with my normal group, and about 7 holes in, and I don't think any of them were kind of tracking my score. But a couple of guys were like, "This is the best we've ever seen you hit the ball." I'm like, "I'm 2 over. I am not scoring well right now. I just fair warning. I am finding ways to not score very well while hitting the ball like a top 200 golfer in the world. It's pretty amazing. I don't think I had a birdie putt outside of like 10 feet for 7 holes and found a way to be 2 over. So, but I'll try to help you.
well, that's good. No, that's my problem is hitting it to 10, not hitting it to 10 feet enough. So this is great. You can
Okay. All
help me
right.
on
No, we're on
approach.
the right track here.
All right, I had to put up a pretty egregious score in league night for me Wednesday night. We won't get into that, but it was coming off the backs of a couple good rounds, so I was rather discouraged by that. But look, a couple big numbers. Double here, double there, triples in there too. We'll get to that in a minute, and that'll undo your round pretty quickly. So, 2 holes in particular here, I wanted to kind of talk through and just pick your brain a little bit. So, hole 4 on red. Anyone doesn't know our course, shorter dogleg left, got a little bit of a valley before the green, and kind of sits like an elevated green. Long is dead. Off the tee, left is dead. It's kind of a hole where you like usually you just kind of hit an iron out there. You can
Yeah.
push the corner if you want, but it brings in a little trouble on the left. So I chose to lay out or lay up a little bit. Just hit a 5 iron. You only need about 190 or so off of that if you're
Yeah.
gonna
Yep.
take that line. So I had 156 in. This is where I kind of get myself in trouble lately because I got the new irons last year, picked up some distance this year. I'm just having trouble clubbing myself right now. So I've got 156 to a back pin. Okay.
Okay.
I'm in the fairway. No problems
And
with the
knowing
lie.
and knowing this hole, that probably means you have about 149 to the center and about 143 to carry the front.
Okay. That's good insight there. I pulled 9 iron and flew the green. So and to give you more context, that is about like a one, like if I hit it good, it's 155. Like that's my new
Yeah.
155 club. So I was playing, it was softer out. I was playing to a number. I thought, I don't think I can hit this long from where I was. There was no wind really to speak of. So I was like, you know what? Let's try to hit a good one here. Hit it too good over the green. I make a triple. Is that a scenario where you're looking front number or middle number and you're just trying to
Yeah,
hit that?
I think this is how I treat most back pins, and like unless it's like let's just say it's 158, right?
Yeah.
And I've got my 155 club in my hand. I'm hitting, but like you were talking, like if you had your 155 club and it was 156, and I know where that pin was because they didn't change pins when I played until I played on Friday. You had about a yard and a half after
Well,
past the pin. Okay. Knowing that, I'm hitting one less, right?
yeah.
But if it's like 158, 159, 160, and I've got a 155 club, I'm probably going to swing that. Worst case, if I hit it 2 yards further, maybe I'm back French, right? But in this case, being about a yard difference, I'm taking that middle number and I'm hitting that club. So for you, it would have been dropped down to a pitching wedge. And if you nuke it, you got 15 feet. If you hit it great or, okay, and you probably have 25 feet.
Yeah.
That's the way I would look at it. That specifically on that hole or any hole like that, I'm not pressing the back of the green.
Yeah. And obviously all this makes sense when I'm sitting here talking to you about it. But when I'm in that moment, it was like, oh, let's be aggressive. Let's hit a good shot here. Completely ignoring the downside of the
Like,
small
oh, if I
margin of error that I
catch it
had.
really good, I'm gone.
Yeah. So that was one of them, and that, like I said, that turned into a triple because like there's nowhere to
Yeah.
drop back
No.
there. I couldn't get a real club on the ball, and it was just
You have no
yeah,
green to work with when you do drop. Like it's all bad.
yeah,
And so, just for reference, so I played the same pin as you, right? I did hit it. I hit my 220 club, pressed it around the corner a little bit, so I only had like 80 yards in to the pin, right? So now you're talking like 72 ish middle, maybe 73 middle, and then like a 65 front, right? Um, I said I hit it at 80, right? I hit the pin at 80, and I'm like, all right, I'm not trying to hit this more than 75 yards. And I did. I thought I hit it about 75 yards, left myself about 15 feet, 18 feet, and ended up making the putt. But I was not going to even remotely come close to the back of that part of it. Like, I'm like, I'll take short, period. Like, especially I was kind of in between clubs. I ended up hitting like a 3/4 56, which is 56 probably like 105, 110 yards for me. But I just kind of pitched it and left it a little short. I was happy with that. So when I hit 80, I was hit the pin at 80. I was instantly thinking 5 yards short of that.
yeah, yeah. We talked about this a couple episodes ago too, of just like it's not that it's not being aggressive or not making something a birdie opportunity, but like I need to give myself more par opportunities, and the birdies will come from that.
Yeah, because okay, I ended up making mine right, but
Yeah,
worst case, I'm tapping in for par. I'm not making triple. I'm definitely not making. It completely takes probably bogey completely out of play, right? Almost. If you play
yeah,
to the center of the green, barring a really really bad second shot, um, if you're playing to the center of the green.
right. Yeah, so that was one of them where it was just like an obvious error, but just one of those where again, I'm really trying to hone in on these decision errors because like I'm gonna have execution errors. Like I'm
It's
not gonna
gonna
hit every ball
happen.
perfect. It's gonna
Yeah,
happen. But what I can control, I need to be like way more in control of. That is
yeah.
my
Like
current issue.
the last thing you want, and the most discouraging thing I think in golf, maybe outside of missing putts, is like hitting good shots, but you're not hitting the correct clubs, right? So
Yeah,
you're hitting balls at pins or around pins, like a pretty good dispersion rate, and you're not putting like that. That's the most frustrating thing to do to yourself in golf, and then it turns into I'm hitting the ball really good to it gets in your head at that point, and then you start hitting bad shots. So I would say to avoid that kind of snowball effect is yeah, just hit your 145 club is probably your pitching wedge.
yeah,
Hit that 145 club, take your 25 footer. You make it, you make it. You don't, you tap in for par.
yeah. All right. So that was one of them. The next one, this is a par five. Uh, hit a really good drive for me on that hole. It was dead into the wind and still pretty good. I had 193 into the pin. This is for those that don't know our course. Big dog leg left, par five. You can get there in two. It's a little risky of a shot depending where you're coming from.
Yeah,
But the layup,
you kind of got a tree there that's like what about 80 yards out. That kind of man, you kind of if you get down on the lower level where some of my tee balls end up, you're kind of hitting back up over the hill over a tree. It does get a little tricky at times. And just so you know, that tee shot has become immensely tighter with the heather. They kind of grew some heather in on the left side. Visually, it's become tighter. I don't know if it's like it may be shrunk it by 2 or 3 yards, the
yeah,
landing area, but it visually looks tighter, which is really all you're kind of going for anyway.
sure. And yeah, so it's a big uphill dog leg to the left. So I've got 193 to the pin.
Good drive.
Thank you. This is a front pin, front left pin specifically.
Yes, it is. Yeah, barely, yeah. It was like what 10 feet on or something. Yeah,
Yeah,
pretty wicked pin for that hole. By the
definitely.
way.
So I'm sitting there and I've got the problem is it's so uphill that it becomes that would be like a stock. Probably I'd probably be debating 5 or 6. It'd be like a hard 6 or a regular 5.
Yeah,
Uh, to making it a 4 iron, right? So now this is where it gets tricky for me because it's an uphill lie. Feel like I'm going to launch the thing kind of, but it's also that promotes more of a draw, which my miss is a hook.
yep.
So I'm like, all right, 4 irons the club though, and I end up hooking into the shit left, basically.
Oh, hey, pot meat kettle. That's exactly what I did. I think I had like 187 in and did the
Yeah.
same fucking thing because I
God.
tried to hit something real hard. Stupid. Like,
Yep.
and here's the thing, and what we're probably going to end up talking about is don't try to hit it hard. Like, take a normal swing. If you end up short to that pin, that's a really good leave. Like, if you're putting off there's kind of a runoff for people that don't know our course. It is. It's a little bit of a false front there, but it's not like a gigantic hill. It's a very small false front. With a front pin, you're putting it up the hill. It's going to be really hard for you not to make four if you miss short. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
So here's what my question is for you on a shot like this. So like I get caught between okay, I'm gonna make a good aggressive swing versus how much can I bite off? Like playing towards safety. So like I have the world right on that shot, you know?
Yeah.
Do I just like try to hit a cut and if I overcut it, okay, fine. It's just gonna be a wedge somewhere up there. Or do I need to just be like, all right, we're playing my stock shot and I'm making a good aggressive swing at it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm always a believer, especially in a shot like that that's tighter, to not try to hit a shot you don't normally hit because that's when things can go really, really wrong. Now it
Sure.
sounds like it did still, right? So I'm not saying that it's a guarantee, but to me, it's it was a front left pin. You're trying to split the difference between the pin and probably the edge of the green. Maybe 5 feet left of the edge of the green. And the thing is, if it draws, great. You're going to hit it right at the pin. If it doesn't draw, you might catch the green. Even if you push it a little bit, you might end up in that bunker, maybe just short. You have a pitch shot with some green to work with. Um, it's more to me, and this is kind of where decade golf comes into, right? Um, that I've tried to put into my game is like it's not necessarily predicting your miss. It's more of like aiming, like swinging, swinging hard at a conservative target.
Yeah.
Essentially, and I think that's where it comes in. Like I know what I did on that hole. I said I hooked it into stuff left. I took too much of an aggressive line. Like I was trying to, we were playing a game and I was trying to kind of come in and finish strong and just took a real aggressive line, kind of came over top of one a little bit, like not a lot. But that's all it takes when you take an aggressive line, right? So that's where I think it's more maybe not the yardage on this one, the club you used. It's more picking a target of like right's fine. So I'm gonna aim a decent amount right of the pin. And if it draws, great. If it doesn't, you know, what's the worst thing that can happen is you're in that bunker down there, right?
Yeah.
That's like the absolute worst thing that can happen down there. So, and if that's the worst thing, you're still hitting three, you're hitting three from down there. So,
Yeah. That's what I think it is just like on a shot like that, I need to borrow a little extra safety essentially. There's, I should not be hell, I shouldn't be firing at a pin from like what we just talked about, 156. I don't need to be doing it from 200 yards out. Like,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
I
Well, and yeah, that's, and, not to get too deep in the woods, but like, if you look at amateur golfers dispersions from 193 yards, like let's put it this way: if you take the line that I just said to take, there's not many instances where you're going to lose your ball. Like there might be one, right, of 100 balls. If you take that line I told you to take, that you might like really hook one and hit one in, right?
yeah.
But for the most part, that dispersion is going to be somewhere in play.
Yeah.
And I think that's where people specifically from like 190 yards, like amateur golf dispersion. I don't know the exact number, but I bet it's probably a dispersion of like 25 yards. Like it's probably pretty hefty of a number. So that's where more of it's coming in of like, I brought this up a couple weeks ago, but Shane Lowry's caddy did something on YouTube and they talked about making aggressive swings towards conservative targets. And it really stuck with me because I just like, there's not a lot can go wrong if you're making a good aggressive swing at a target that's going to put you somewhere on the green.
Yeah.
It
That's
might
yeah.
not put you right next to the hole, but it's going to put you somewhere on the green or at least where you can get your club on the ball and figure it out from there.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, that's actually a really good segue into fan mail from our guy Stein, who wrote in. He says, "Here's a nugget for you: scratch golfers get up and down from 120 to 129 yards in the fairway only 9% of the time.
That's
They
amazing.
they take 4 or more shots to hole out from that distance 27% of the time, which is 3 times as often." Two questions: one, are you surprised by this stat? And two, let me see what the rest is. Why do I, an 11 handicap, beat myself up for making bogey from a position A drive like that? So to answer number one, I mean I'm kind of surprised at that 9%. I guess that makes sense when you really like think about it, just because of the probably the like you said the dispersion rate of a or the proximity that someone's going to hit the ball. Obviously, they're not going to hit it that close that often from that distance. Um, Two, why do we get frustrated? It's the same exact reason we just talked about these last two holes that I gave as examples, right? It's like I think especially as amateurs and Jeff, I'm a 7 handicap currently, and like it feels like you put yourself in position A so few times that like you really put pressure on that one
Yeah,
opportunity you get.
that's probably some of it. Yeah, 100%.
And so I think it's just extra frustrating when like and so there's that part, but then there's also the part where like as an amateur golfer, you hit really good shots, and you know that you can hit really good shots. So it becomes like, you psych yourself out from doing that. So I don't know. There's kind of two sides to that coin. Are you still there, big guy?
I'm back. I'm back. Yeah, sorry about that.
That's good. So yeah, I think it's a combo platter of like having the opportunity, then messing it up, but then also like you kind of know what you're capable of, and when you can't do it in that one moment, it just like doubles the frustration.
Yeah, so I think there's a really good, and I'm going to give him a shout out. He goes by Mental Golf Coach on Twitter. His name's Josh Nichols, I believe. Yes, Josh Nichols. I've read a lot of his tweets, and essentially what he says is amateur golfers are too hard on themselves based on like what the actual percentage of outcomes are, right?
Mhm.
So, you know, like just what you said with Steiny, right, where it's like he's mad when he gets in that situation and fucks it up, right? So that's where it's like if you understand the percentage of what's going to happen based on your handicap or like just being an amateur golfer, the more likely you're going to accept the outcome, and then you're not going to let it ruin your round, right? So that's where something where that happens, correct? And then it's like the next hole, it drags into the next hole, drags into the next hole, and it's always in his mind. It's like, man, I was in prime A real estate, couldn't get up and down, whatever. Um, that's where it kind of leads to even worse golf.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think that's all of that together. I think is the exact reason why we get so mad at ourselves about that stuff, Steiny.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, if you don't if you're on X or anything like that, Josh Nichols, mental golf coach, look him up. He goes through a lot of that stuff. Talks about accepting outcomes and things like that. So I think that ties into what Steiny's kind of talking about.
Yeah, for sure.
And by the way, that number does not surprise me, just for the record.
Yeah. Okay. Good. All right. Next, we're just putting the fan mail up top in the show here. We were texting a little bit with Kent yesterday, and he had a question that he dropped in the chat. How does product placement and marketing affect your golf mentality? I think a lot, like more than I want it to.
Probably, yeah. For me, yeah, definitely.
And I think it works both ways too, right? Like it's like you have positive associations with brands or like clubs or ball, whatever. But there's also negative ones too. So
100%.
like I will never own anything PXG purely because of their marketing. Does not jive with me. So
Yeah, it's
I'm just
not
out.
great. Yeah, it's not
You know?
great. Yeah, I get it's a really good question because I've always kind of been a Titleist guy, right?
Yeah.
Um, and I don't know. I guess it's funny because I became a Titleist guy when Tiger was like really popular. So, and it was rumored that Tiger was using Titleist clubs when he was still at Nike or Mizuno club, whatever. But I just remember but I did have a set of Nikes in the early 2000s. So I would say I'm very affected by marketing placement and things like that with golf stuff. I definitely think it plays a role, and I think it's even more drastic now with social media.
Oh, for sure. You're just inundated with stuff, and you have like, the quote. That's why they're called influencers, right? Like the influence of the people that you follow and the people that you support, with your fandom or whatever. Like their words go a long way too, right? So it's, I mean, I was thinking about this too. Like I was in high school, like I was all Titleist stuff. Um, Once I finally got like my own clubs and everything at that point, junior year or whatever. And then over the years throughout college, I've got buddies that play TaylorMade, so I tried TaylorMade this. I kind of got deep, even deeper than I am now, into like the no laying up scene. And they were Callaway guys for a while, so I've a few Callaway clubs crept into my bag, because of just hearing about it all the time. And so now I'm kind of slowly rebuilding back into a pure Titleist guy. But yeah, it's all like omnipresent, truly.
Yeah, yeah. I think a lot of different things go into what people use. I think a lot has to do with like if something's super popular at your club, right, or where you play golf at. I kidded with my buddy Kyle Hodges. We played him last year in the 2-man, and I said if Lab Golf would have gone out and done a commercial on the front nine when he had like 11 putts, everybody at the club would have one, tomorrow.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I think that has something to do with it, especially like we play, I play with a lot of different people, and it's like if I see a guy that I know is like not like I know they've struggled with putting, and I know Kyle's struggled with putting in the past, and to watch him like do that, I'm like, I kind of want that broomstick now. I want the broomstick Lab. Like I want that. So
Yeah.
yeah, it definitely matters. I think it matters on all levels. I think it's professionally, professional golfers, um, influencers they have because that's a big part of golf now. And then yeah, like people that you're always around. You know.
Yeah, that's 100%. Yeah, the word of mouth stuff too. I think we underrate that. It's exactly what you said. You see somebody at the club that has a certain thing that works, or you've got a buddy that's got plays this golf ball all of a sudden now. Yeah, it's like I think golfers are naturally like curious and tinkerers, like kind of by nature.
Yeah,
So we're just like I think we're super susceptible to it, and it's an expensive hobby. Like I
it
think
is.
most people that golf, they've got a little quote unquote disposable income. So like, we're willing to spend a little bit on the sport too.
If it saves a stroke, it's worth the $500, right? 600,
Exactly.
$600 now, probably.
100%. All right. With that, I think it's time. Let's talk a little Stampede. Uh
Oh.
Before we dive in, I want to know about this hotel story. What's going on with the hotel?
Yeah, so every year my family's usually gone.
Yeah.
Right, they're out of town. They don't see me. I'm in my own little bubble. Um, I was told this year that I needed to just get my own place. The plan was to have an RV
Yeah.
in the parking lot. That plan fell through. Something happened I think it was actually a camper. Something happened with the camper. Long story short, couldn't do that. So then it was like, okay, what do I do? Wife's like, you stay, like we're not gonna see you. Just stay away for the weekend. You're good. Go do your thing. So I ended up booking a hotel today. So I'm staying like 8 minutes from my house. I know that sounds so goofy. Um, but yeah, yeah. Shout out to the Holiday Inn at Liberty Way up here. Nice cheap hotel room, and it looks like a good place to stay. So I'm staying there for the weekend, Friday and Saturday night. Um, yeah, I'm gonna be in my own little bubble, even though they're in town. So I love it.
That is unbelievable. I I can't even fathom that.
My partner was supposed to stay with me. He's since backed out. So it's a little heartbreaking. I thought we were gonna, get our minds right together, kind of be in our own little bubble together, and he backed out on me today. So it is what it is, but I'm still gonna enjoy my time. Uh I actually tossed around the idea. I do have a tent for the back of my Jeep that I was gonna do, but it looks like some nasty weather is gonna blow in through Saturday night. And I was like, I don't need to be out there in like a tornado warning or lose the tent and then just be miserable for Sunday. So that's when we landed on the hotel.
Well, who would have been the big spoon and who would have been the little spoon?
Well, he wasn't going to sleep in the Jeep with me, for the record. It was just going to be me. Um, but the hotel definitely is the better play. Nice, nice place to relax. Maybe take a little dip in the pool. All kinds of possibilities. Get a free continental breakfast. Like it's gonna be a nice little weekend.
Yeah, I'm curious how this one plays out. This sounds, I don't know. I don't think I'd be able to trust the hotel bed and pillow. Like I think I'd be too terrified about my back. I'd trust an RV before that, to be honest with you.
Well, I guess we're gonna find out.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's one way to do the weekend. I'm curious to see how it plays, how it works out for you. All right, for anybody listening who does not know the format, I'm sure we have lots of our fellow Elks out there listening, but it's pretty classic, like member guest format, right? Like it's 2 days. We're doing, it's flighted by handicap total for your team. I think you get 90% of your handicap for each 9. They dot them up from there. 6 teams per flight. You got 5 matches in the weekend. Every hole's worth a point. You're trying to get as many of those as you can. And by the end of it, each flight winner goes on, and we have a wild card team who scores the most points on Sunday moves on to the shootout, which is where things get really crazy. Obviously, you've got 20 something golfers on playing one hole at a time to start off with, and you whittle that all the way down until you get to the last 2 guys standing, and it's a weekend long blast. Truly, like it's everything you. If you've never played in something like this, I would suggest finding a way to do so.
Yeah, I think events like this are exactly why you join a club, right? Like
Yeah.
I think that's a foregone conclusion. If you don't know that, this is exactly why you join a club, because these events are, you think about it. We've got Divot Day tomorrow, which is kind of part of the week, right? We're trying to get the course in like, we're a budget club, so we're sending the members out. They're going to buy a keg for everybody and go out there, fill divots, and then we start with our champions dinner on Thursday night, which was a new addition last year, where the champions get to pick the dinner. All the past champions come and eat. That's on Thursday night, and then Friday, like opening night, Calcutta putting competition. They're adding a long drive competition this year, which I am psyched about. So psyched about. And then and then Saturday starts the tournament. But it truly is like I'm back to the hotel thing. I'm not going to be home. You know what I mean? Like at all. So that's kind of where it led to. But yeah, I'm super psyched about it. I actually did some new decorating in here. You can see back here our little picture back there. That's when we won in 2020. Need to get back in that winner's circle. I'm itching.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of a dry spell for. I mean, I shouldn't say that. We've got close friends that won it last year, so like we've kept things pretty within the group have been good. But for the speaking just for our 2 teams in particular, little mixed bag of results the last few years. So, yeah, we can jump right into that. So, you guys, Justin and Ryan, like you mentioned, you won in 2020. Congratulations on that. 5 years later, what amount of life has happened between then and now? I mean, can you even looking at that picture? What do you think about compared to now?
Well, I think there's a guy in that picture that has a 3rd kid. The other guy in that picture now has a 5-year-old as well. So there's also that. That guy looks young in that picture. He looks like he can endure 45 holes and 7 holes of a shootout. That I think that's part of it. There's and to think of the things that had happened in this tournament for us between that and now. Some really really good things. I mean, I think we've only lost like 4 matches in 5 years. We don't really lose a ton. But we've had some crazy things happen to us. I get a bad kick a couple years ago in a shootout. And then my partner misses like a 3-footer, like that's bad. And then, the one year we got a 2.5 shot lead. I think we tied our last match, and some guys go like 8-1 on another group and end up passing us. Like that's it's crazy what's happened between that picture. And I think it tells you like it's a combination of playing really, really good golf at the right time, and then you gotta have some luck too. Like, when we won it that year, like I I vividly remember a couple times where it was like, how lucky were we? Like that,
Yeah.
like that bounce or that putt you made. Well, like putting is, it's one thing to make a putt, but like that's some luck too, right? Like, Ryan drained like a 10-footer on our like and we were in the finals, final two groups, and he drains like a 10-footer that breaks like a foot and a half, like and then he drains another 10-footer on the next hole to win.
Yeah.
So it's crazy how much, like, yes, you have to get to the point, you have to play really good golf, and then it's like a combination of playing good in the shootout and some good breaks, because you definitely need those. um it's crazy. Yeah, lots happened since that picture. But man, I'm itching so bad. We've had a taste of the shootout a couple times. I think 3 times since then. Nothing's come out of it. So
Okay, so I was going to ask you about that because I was trying to go. So one, you're right about your match, right? You guys are 16-4-3 in this event. You went 3-1-1 last year. Uh, I've got you down for just 2 out of 5 flight
okay,
wins.
you're right. So I was included. So 3 of the 5 years would include the year we won. So there were 2 years that we missed. Last year we did. We had the guys that we lost our flight to by a half a stroke. Again, it goes back, like, every shot matters. This is why every shot matters, because every point, every half point, like, we kind of get mad about half points, right? Like, dang, like we shouldn't have tied that hole. Or like they make a good shot and you end up tying. Like, but a half point, it mean the difference. We lost ours by a half point last year. Um, we went back, and I think on Sunday we missed like 4 putts inside 5 feet, and it's like, and you just make one of those, we're in, right? You make one of them, we're in.
Yeah.
Because we had the tiebreaker, but we ended up losing by a half point. But yeah, so it's been three, so two outside the year we won, 2 of the last 4 years, correct? Does that sound right?
I mean, you won in 2020, but then I think you've only made it to the Stampede one other time, right? The
No,
driver.
maybe you're right.
Yeah, I think you've had some like really like just tough, like you just described, tough luck in your flight. Like it's
Yeah,
not like
I
you.
think, because you're right, because so we lost last year by a half point. We had the 8-1 happen on us, to another group, and then we lost our last match. I think this would have been 3 years ago at this point. We lost our last match, and ended up losing our flight by a half point. So we've like the years we've lost, I don't even think we've lost by more than a half point in our flight. And
Right.
um, just to give people, like, most of the other flights, there's blowouts. Typical, like that's typical. The last year was an atypical year for our flight. Actually, the last 2 years, some big blowouts, which is surprising because there's just so many good golfers in our first flight
Mhm.
that to catch both guys off balance like that is really hard to do. There's going to be a guy that's like kind of holding it together. But we've had some blowouts, which is very surprising in that first flight.
Yeah, I mean and I think this year, just knowing who's playing, who's partnering up, like that first flight's getting more interesting too, which is very exciting.
I think you're going to see this year. I think you're going to see more of a normal first flight. I think you're going to see some grinding matches. You're going to see a lot of 5-4s, 5.5, 3.5s. I think you'd be lucky to get the 6-3 as far as a point total goes. I think it's going to be a grind this year, knowing the teams that are going to be in that flight.
Yeah. Well, on to Gunth and I. So we're the 2022 champions. We came in fourth in 2021 in our only other flight win. So we're 2 for 4 on the flight wins. Last year was just an abomination. We hit rock bottom. We went 1-4. Prior to last year, we had a really strong match record. We're now 9-5-4, but taking 4 losses last year. We were 8-1-4 going into it. So just never got off the bus. One of those situations. We beat one team down, and then it was like, we got boat raced right off the jump in the first match, and they were in our heads from the year prior, so it was just like a double whammy there, and just kind of snowballed on down the line. I just think it's going to really come down to what flight we're in and where we're at in the flight is a big thing. The last 2 years, we've been the top of a flight, which is, as you guys know, very tough spot to be
Tough,
in.
very tough.
Uh, it's a little different for you, just with Ryan does get a pop here or there, but like there's so many guys with similar handicaps in our flight usually that the pops just don't matter, or you'll get one guy that gets pops on like everybody.
Yeah,
Um, so that's tough, but you got to get past that. We just got to play better golf. I think having the first year we played together, making it to the shootout, and then winning the next year, like it just felt a little too easy for us, I think. And we, when we didn't defend in 2023, it was easy to like write it off and just be
yeah.
like,
It's
yeah,
like 2 in a row is hard.
yeah, it's like,
Hard work.
that's tough, whatever, tough luck. And I think last year we just kind of, it was like the realization of like, no, like this, you got to like play. You can't, you can't just roll the balls out and like, you know, will your way to it kind of thing.
Yeah, and I think we talked about this last year, and I'm curious to how. Like, first question to you would be, so I have the picture right, but what's happened uh, that's really stuck out in your mind? Maybe a couple things that between when you guys won and now.
Well, I mean, there has been a lot of life lived in there. I can be, if I'm being honest, you know, Gunt got, since we won, he got engaged, married, and had a kid.
Yeah,
I've had a second child. I've got a third on the way. So those things have happened. There's been some other things in between. He's changed jobs since then. I changed jobs since then. Like,
yeah,
just been a lot of change, really. If you want to be real about it, and it's not like Gunt moved too. So like,
lot.
a lot of stuff, and he lives quite a bit farther away from the course. It's not like either of us were really like range rats to begin with, right? Like we're more of like play our way into form kind of guys,
For sure.
like
Yeah.
getting reps, playing in league, doing all that stuff. And when that's just not happening as much, it's kind of tough to roll up to a member event and play good golf, right? Like, and to compete. So I think that's part of it for sure. Like I'd be lying if I didn't say that. Now that's not to blame us not playing well on, generally being, living, having families. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
we
Yeah.
chose those things and we love those things. So that's, but it is part of amateur golf, right? Like
A
I'm
lot
a
of
dad. I'm
outside.
a,
Yeah.
like it's not this, golf is not my thing. It's a hobby, but it's also a little more than a hobby, right?
Yeah.
For the hardos of us. So yeah, I think just that combo platter of all that stuff and not, I think there's some naivete to it too, right? Like when you go out there and you're in it the first 2 years and it kind of feels like it's supposed to happen. And then when it doesn't, then you kind of like, it's kind of like Mike Tyson, like everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's a little bit of that.
Yeah. I think that very similar to us, right? We did not make the shootout the next year after we won. We lost our last match, lost by a half point. I think we kind of got complacent with like we're gonna win matches, right? And it almost got to the point when we kind of were tied, right? It was like we started forcing things. Like, wait a second, like we should be up by a couple points at this point, right? Um, but I think it does because we went back to the drawing board in the next year. It was kind of like okay, and we go into every match, ready to beat someone's brains in, and anything less, and not in the way of like we're going to start pressing, but like really grinding it out in these matches because I think a lot of times we just kind of took things for granted, like all right, we're going to hit good shots and things are just going to happen. Where it's like sometimes you're just going to have that match where it's you have to grind it out, man. Like grind out all the half points and a point here or there. Like it's just going to happen that way. So yeah, I agree with that. But so my second question to you: have we rethought how we're going to handle this? Because I said this last year, and I was not trying to be a dick. It was out of care and caring for you guys, because we do take it serious. Like this is this is something we all really care about. Like the members, like it's a big deal to win this tournament. Um, so you do take it seriously, but there is some form of like, all right, like there's got to be some fun involved, or you do start pressing, right, or you start getting mad or this and that. And I said last year, I told Ryan, I said, you guys were, I was like, they're taking it too seriously. Like you have to take it seriously, but like to the extent of like you also have to have fun, right?
Yeah.
Because if it's not fun, why are we out there?
No, that's an excellent point. I have another thought I want to get to after I answer this question, so remind me of that if I don't. Um, yeah, like we tried to look, we previously we'd not done the putting contest, right? We were like, all right, we're just not going to do the putting contest because that's, we don't want to waste the time and energy and effort on that. We did it last year, obviously made no impact, and is something we should be participating in. But I think that shows like the level of seriousness we were trying to take this kind of thing with. Like it was like we were playing the Masters and we're going to skip the par 3 contest. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
yeah,
that's kind of the vibe we were going for, which is not, you don't have to do that. But I actually was going back through our text from last year between me and Gunth, like after the Saturday round and last year I had to kind of scoot out and go to a wedding right after the final round on Saturday. So we didn't get to like kind of debrief in person, but like we had texts that we had been talking about. And not to like air him out or whatever, but one of his texts was like, I need to like not like, he's like, I'm so mad at myself for like how frustrated I was letting myself be. He was
yeah,
like, I need to just like take a step back and realize like I'm playing 45 something holes of golf with a really good friend at an event I love, at a place I love, and like I just need to like go have fun.
yeah,
And I think getting back to the other thing I was going to talk about, I think that was a big part of it too. Like our first 2 years of success was like, we were friends, but we weren't like close, right? Like this was pretty early on in mine and Gun's friendship when he joined. And so obviously we got to know each other really well over the years since. But like there was just that element of like we were just vibing together kind of
yeah,
thing.
yeah,
And another thing that's been kind of different too that I realized when he joined and stuff, like, it wasn't like golf was his sport. You know what I mean? Like he he picked it up over the years. Like, he was still playing his,
yeah,
uncle's old pings from the 80s and stuff, things like that. Uh and so there was an element to like our our team where like kind of like a little bit of coach player thing. Like
yeah,
where I could like he was kind of like leaning on me for a little bit of like course management stuff and like decision making. And like I realized those first 2 years, like we just talked everything out like
yeah,
all the time.
yeah,
And the last couple of years, it's been kind of like we've been playing like he's been playing his game and I've been playing my game. So I think we were way better at like the team game the first 2 years. And some of that was out of necessity just because he was like learning how to play competitive golf kind of for the first time. And some of it was like, no, we should be doing that as partners. Like we should be having a constant dialogue. We should be helping with decision
yeah,
making. Like those things all matter. And I think just like you said, like stripping it down, getting back to sort of the basics and just like enjoying the event is like the combo platter we're trying to achieve this year.
yeah, yeah. It's so that was kind of our going back to the drawing board, right? It was like realizing who we are, like who me and Ryan are, or like we're gonna get a 6 pack, right? We're gonna drink while we're out there, and like people are gonna get mad because we're drinking and beating their brains in, and then we're arguing at the same time, like over here, like in our cart, like ready to punch each other. But at the same time, like I tell people, the most dangerous me and him are, the most dangerous is when we have a nice balance of yelling at each other and like when you go to execute a shot, it looks like a well-oiled machine. You're like, dude, they were just about to beat their brains in the cart, and guy gets out and hits a wedge at 5 feet. You know what I mean? It's like, how's that even happen? But I'm like, but I know like when we get in a cart, and there's certain, we've had some people we've played in the past that we've continued to play, and I just know like when we get in the cart, like when we're gonna play well. It's kind
Yeah.
of like that, like like you know, hey bitch, when are you going to do something kind of thing, you know what I mean? Like it's like, and I will say this, Ryan has gotten, since 2020, he's gotten like a lot better at, he knows my buttons, but he's gotten a lot better at pressing my buttons, like, and when to press them. And that's what I'm trying to learn, because sometimes I can be really hard on him, and I know I can. And it's, you guys always call it good golfer privilege or whatever. Um, I can be really, really hard on him, and I got to be more selective when I'm hard on him. I can't just, if I ride him the whole time, he's just gonna shut down. But if I like let him go for a couple holes and then like kind of like pull him back in and hard on him like for a 10-minute span, like he's better that way. Um, but and the other thing we started, well, I started doing this. Ryan doesn't do this. I pick a theme every year from a movie, and I send clips to him throughout the week. Um, Not going to spoil what it is. Maybe I'll release it on our story when I send him his first clip. I usually send it out on like Friday because we're playing in a game on Friday. So I'll send him a clip. We've a couple years ago when we might go back to Secretariat.
I was gonna ask.
We might go back to Secretariat. There's some really good one-liners in there. Maybe Secretariat. We went with Ted Lasso last year. I don't think it brought the vibes that we thought it was going to bring. No offense to Ted Lasso, but yeah, I'm still deciding on a theme, but I started doing that. I think he kind of looks forward to it. Maybe I need to get another David Duvall video because the year that we won, I paid for a cameo of David Duvall talking shit to him. So maybe David Duvall is back on the docket this year. Who knows?
Man, yeah. Yeah, that all makes sense. I think for me, kind of ignoring my own psychology or whatever, but like I think as long as I can keep Gunther from like thinking he's playing golf and just thinking that he's competing,
Yeah,
that's when he's at his best.
yeah, he's a competitor.
Yeah,
Yep,
I gotta feed that to him all weekend long.
100%.
Okay. Well, that's pretty close. On anything else you want to talk on Stampede? I mean,
No, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. It's a great week. And again, anybody just join a club like these events. And look, they're expensive. Like I'm not gonna get like even not without a hotel, right? Like they're expensive, but they're worth every penny, especially if your club does it the right way. Um, they're worth every penny. Don't get sticker shock. Grab a partner, go play in these events at your club. 100% worth it.
yeah, I mean the events are that you're just not going to get the value out of your membership if you're not playing in the club events. It's kind of like the whole point.
Yeah, it really is. It's 80% of the reason you join the club.
Yeah, for sure. Um, Man, I had a question for you. I forgot what it was going to be.
Oh, predictions.
Well, we can't. I mean, it's
I don't
tough.
like predictions, but I maybe we don't have to get specifically in what we think our record's going to be and how our matches are going to go, but maybe what we think's gonna how we're going to play golf this weekend.
Yeah, I think the main thing for me is we've been talking the last couple of weeks is like truly like just committing to the swings, trying to limit the decision errors as best as I can. I'm excited because looks like there could be some weather issues potential. Hopefully nothing that
Yeah, you guys are noted mutters, by the way.
we're noted mothers, and look, I've picked up some distance this year. If it plays long and soft, I think that is an advantage for us. So I'm glad I've put that work in to get that point. And I'm curious to see how it's gonna shake out
Oh
in a
yeah,
competition. Because I
yeah,
mean I play in league every week, but this is like the first like real competitive reps that I'm gonna put this under. So
yeah. It's so I guess my prediction's more of I'm my goal is to go out and have 3 birdies every match. Now, look, it's not going to happen every match. We get that, right? But I think if I go out with that mentality and play with that mentality, like good things are going to happen. Um, Hitting greens and try to make 3 birdies every match. I think if I can do that, the rest will kind of take care of itself. And avoid leaving my partner on an island. I would give them a
yeah,
shout
that's
out.
always a goal.
Yeah,
That's always a goal.
it's kind of one of those things like good things are going to happen when you're both in the hole.
Yeah.
Bad things only happen when it's one of you on the hole. Like not all the time, but when you leave your partner on the island a lot, it's kind of one of those things like, like when they talk about in football, it's like, like they keep leaving the defense out there and, not moving the ball. Like something's good, they're going to end up scoring. And that's kind of the same way is like leaving your partner on an island, hole after hole after hole. It's like eventually that dam's going to break. So that's my goal of staying in holes, and both of us staying in holes, and trying to win holes that way.
Yeah, I mean, the last 2 years, a theme has just been giving holes away. Like, one of us is ball in pocket,
Yeah,
making doubles, like,
yeah,
you just can't you're just giving points away, and that's obviously not a winning recipe.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that was gonna be my question. Justin Cantori, how's the weather looking right now? We got an
Well,
update?
I'm a little nervous about Sunday right now. I
Okay.
am. I'm not, I'd be lying to you if I wasn't. If I said I wasn't, but I'm a little nervous about Sunday. Specifically, just the amount of pop-ups, thunderstorms that we're supposed to have this week. The course maybe being a little wet. You know, these bigger storms moving through on Sunday. It's not like this is going to rain all day thing, but if you get enough water in a golf course, like one big rain could be the end of it, right? So I will say Saturdays we're going to get Saturday in. I have no doubt about that in my mind. Like we will get Saturday in. It might be a long day with a few weather breaks or maybe one weather break or a late start, but I think we're going to get Saturday and Sunday to TBD. Yeah, I'm a little worried about Sunday.
Oh, look, I don't worry until Justin Cantori worries, so now I'm officially on the worry watch right now.
Yeah, and it just means that you just got to get a lead on Saturday. I mean, that's truly because we found out that's how they handle it, right? Like if they're gonna do, maybe they find the time, maybe they just realize we only have time for the shootout, and they take Saturday, whoever's leading from Saturday, like it just puts a little more pressure on Saturday of like getting out and playing good and making sure you have a lead going into Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, that's full disclosure, that's what happened to us the year we won.
Yep.
Thankfully, we were in the lead on Saturday, so
Yep.
okay, well, I kinda combo plattered Open Championship and our, one and done and all that stuff here. The tough thing that about the Stampede the week it is, like, I feel like I've lost the Open Championship in the process. Um, normally we'd have for a major, especially, I mean, I love the Open. It's like right there with the US Open for number 2, right? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
those 2 are
100%.
like a tie.
Yeah.
Um, and it stinks because it's like normally we'd have a full breakdown and storylines and guys we like. And so I got nothing, man. I don't even have the energy for it, to be honest with you.
Well, I hate it because this is why I'm Thursday and Friday. Like I get up early and
Oh,
watch
yeah.
because I'm like as soon as after Friday, I'm like I'm not gonna get to watch any of this. So I want to
Yep.
watch as much as I can on Thursday and Friday. I do. I get up. I'll get up at 3:30 ish, 4 a.m. and click it on the TV and usually watch. So that's why I do that because every year it falls on this weekend for our member. Um, I'm excited about Port Rush. I'm very excited it's back there. Really cool storylines, obviously, with Rory and stuff like that. Shane coming back to where he wanted and all that. So I think there's some really cool storylines. I think it's a great course. I'm looking forward to it. It just sucks that we're not going to be able to see Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah. I mean, I'm 100% right there with you. I had same thoughts, same feelings, same excitement level. I'm going to probably honestly, I bet take in more preview content of the tournament than I do the actual tournament.
100%. Yeah,
Uh,
I'm the same way.
Yeah, because like I mean, I'll be watching and listening to everything that I can get to in the lead up of this, and uh, probably won't get to watch much Thursday, but I might have it on in the background on Friday after I'm past my the all company outing for the week here. Um, but yeah, so I look, we need to make a pick to win. Shockingly, Robert McIntyre T65, he's got like 20K out of him. Uh, we're so bad at one and done. I
Uh,
pulled the notes from last year into this agenda. So I had a little sneak preview of last year where we were at. We had like almost double the money, but we were like almost in the same place. So it's just like we're just, much like
uh,
our picks every week, we are kind of what we are and we're gonna finish where we're gonna finish. So
it's an honest living. Like I said, it's an honest living. Just making
yeah.
cuts and getting paychecks.
So here's the bad news. It's basically Tommy Fleetwood or a live guy. That's pretty much what we're down to. We have like none of the good
Uh,
players left. It's not good. You want to get wild or do you want to I mean, it doesn't matter.
man, I feel so good about Tommy, but I just know it's going to end in heartbreak. Like, you know what I mean?
I know. And he didn't play well last week. It's like, I don't. But
I
I
don't
my
think of him too much in that way. Like, oh, how is he playing recently?
yeah.
I really don't. He's such a good ball striker. He figures it out in a short amount of time. So,
I mean, we
uh,
could pick Tommy if you want. He's 27% available, so like if he did win, it would actually be helpful for us. Not that we're gonna, do
yeah,
anything, but
I don't know. I just what live guys do we have? I mean, I
Hatton, but I bet he's popular.
probably.
I don't want to play Neiman because he's can't do anything in
Well,
majors.
he's the best golfer in the world, so we got to save him for something else.
You're right. We still have Brooks, but whatever. He hasn't done anything. Patrick Reed.
God,
We
is this the moment that Brooks figures it out? That's what I'm like. So I'm so worried about missing that moment.
I know, but I mean, this is the only you get 4 shots with these live guys. It's like, I mean, he's T12 at the U.S. Open. Obviously, he almost won this event at Port Rush. Last time it was here. If
God,
he
do
didn't
we
get
do
stuck with
Brooks?
JB Holmes, I think he would have won.
Do we do Brooks?
I mean, what do we have to lose?
I think we got to do Brooks,
I mean, I think he stinks, but
but he might like not stink this week. You know what I
right.
mean?
We can do Brooks. I don't
Yeah,
care.
we got it. Let's go. Yeah, we'll save Tommy for like a couple weeks from now or something. I don't know.
Yeah, we might need him at like the St. Jude or whatever. We might
Yeah,
if we're
we'll save
somehow
him for
alive.
then. Let's ride with Brooksy here. I don't hate that too much. It feels like it's gonna explode in our face, but it might be like he figures. I don't know. Like I just don't want to miss it. You know what I mean? Like it's like the betting Jordan Spieth thing. It's like I know I'm an idiot for doing it, but like at the same time, I don't want to miss when he wins again.
Well, I mean, I think Brooks. I haven't looked. But Brooks probably has a pretty decent number just given his recent form.
Yeah,
So
I would guess.
we
I mean,
might
it's
have
still
to.
Brooks, right? Like,
Yeah, I mean, if he's like 50-1 or more, I don't mind. I never mind sprinkling on.
so
On
this
that
is how
number.
this goes for everybody that's maybe new here or whatever. That means you should probably bet Tommy because every time we like toy with someone in the beginning, they always end up playing better than who we pick. So
Yeah, that's a great. You're good shout out for the people there. You're a good man for that.
you're welcome. Maybe just throw me a tip or something when he does win when Tommy
Yeah,
wins.
there you go. All right. With that, I think it is time to head over to the patio where anything goes. You've got yours right there. Oh man, a fine pilsner it is.
So good.
I'll go ahead and go first here this week. Let me pull up because I have a. All right, this is one of those things where I saw someone pulled a Reddit post onto social media. So bear with me as I read this, but the headline for the topic is pace of play is a problem, in parentheses, not like you think. So here's what it says. Okay, I'll die on this sword. That's the wrong term. It needs to be I'll die on this hill to be a proper statement, number one. I'll die on the sword. Entitled fast players are ruining the game. I understand no one wants to be on the course for 5 hours, but I think we need to have a conversation about aggressive pace of play warriors. The social contract we all sign is that golf should take between 4 and 4.5 hours. We all are so ready to jump on golfers that take longer than that, but why do we give a free pass to players that want to play faster and don't admonish their poor behavior when they yell at groups ahead of them? If you want to play in 3 hours, good for you, but if I'm on pace, it's not my job to adjust to your wishes. I just want to give a hearty hell yeah to this. I'm not look, no one is for slow play, right? If you are, I don't know. I don't think anyone is. But golf takes time and it's okay. There I get just as frustrated about the people that are like riding up your ass and like throwing their hands up in the air and you're on pace, a normal pace to finish your round. You're a foursome and they're a twosome. They're getting all pissed off because they can't whip around in 3 hours. Like, if I'm on pace of play, which at our club is 4 hours and 5 minutes for anyone who doesn't know that, do not like I'm
Don't
fine.
even. Yeah, don't even. Yeah,
I
I
think
agree
this
with
I
that.
think this is a good take.
I think it's a good take. You have to know the situation, right? If you're out there on a Wednesday morning and there's no one out there and someone's not letting you play through, completely different situation,
Mhm.
right? Because you're out there on a Wednesday morning to try to play in like 3 hours because no one's out there. I think that's a little different. But if we're talking like a general run, say on a Saturday, and you're on pace, um, yeah, the people that are assholes that are trying like it's a Saturday morning. Like go play somewhere else. You're gonna play in 5 hours. Like we're gonna be done in like 4:10. Like slow your roll. We had this something happen in our match 3 weeks ago. And mind you, we're playing a match. We're given putts, but it just so happened like in the first 4 or 5 holes, like there just weren't a lot of putts to give, right? 4 or 5 footers, this and that. Like obviously we were raking, something inside 6 inches. Like all right, that's good, pick it up. But like there just weren't a lot of putts being like given. It just didn't happen that way. But I looked. These guys are getting pissy behind us, right? And I looked and I'm like, we've just played 5 holes in like 55 minutes as a match. Like so, we're actually ahead of time
Yeah.
playing a match. And this guy's like throwing his hands up behind us. And I was like, oh, I literally called the brush up. I'm like, you have a hole to get out here and calm this guy down, or I'm going to start firing balls back at him. Like, I'm done with this. Like, we are ahead of schedule. And the whole thing was they were trying to get done. They were only playing 9 holes. We were playing 18, but they were trying to get done before the storms rolled in. And it just pissed me off to no end that this guy was doing that. And we were actually ahead of schedule.
Right.
Like I cannot stand that. But you got to know the situation. If you're playing on a Saturday, expect 4.5. I think those are an acceptable term. Now you start tipping 5. That's when I got a problem with it. You got to see what's going on, like who's holding the course up, because 5 hours, that's a long time. Like it just is, But like, yeah, if you're out there on a Wednesday and like someone's not letting you play through, you have the right to be pissed off when there's no one else on the course. So I think it's definitely scenario, but I do like that take. If you're out there on a Saturday morning thinking you're going to whip around as a twosome in 3 hours, sorely mistaken.
Yeah, that's kind of my point. I mean, I think the big rule obviously is the general like don't be an asshole, right? So if you want to take your time and you have room to let someone play through, just let them through. Like you don't want them rushing you, they don't want you slowing them down. You can let them through. If it's a busy packed course and it's gonna, you're gonna be lucky to finish on pace, then you just have to recognize that and deal with that. But everyone obviously should be doing their best to play at the stated pace of play. Like that's the obvious solution here. But yeah, dude, the aggressive, like the people that are just like constantly playing fast, like just to play fast. Like I do think there's a limit to it. Like I said, I'm not embracing slow play or endorsing slow play, but I do think that there is like a well reasoned like golf takes 4 hours to play 18 holes or whatever the pace is at that course, and I think that's okay too.
Yeah, 100%. So my question is coming off Reddit too. I love the "Am I an asshole? Am I the
Oh yeah,
asshole?" Those
very
are
good.
like, dude, there's some good ones on there. We're gonna go a little deep in the woods on this one, um, because this it reminded me, like it made me think of like this is what I would do if I
Okay.
was this guy. Okay, um, so he goes, my he's a 23 male girlfriend, 20 female. Let me use her old computer while mine is broken, and I found an old archive wrote by her when she was 16. It was a long story about a maid in antebellum South that was a romantic affair with a man of the house. It is not as overly sexual as you may be thinking. It has some sex, mostly towards the ending, but mostly romantic and emotional. The maid is clearly meant to be a version of my girlfriend. Everything was fine for me until the part when they arrived at a train station. The maid wanted to leave because she couldn't bear for their romance to be hidden anymore. The men the man was following her to try to convince her to stay. The issue that I found, the general representation of the station and later in the story, the trains themselves, to be full anarchisms. I don't know what that is. I'm a train enthusiast and I know a lot about the history of rail transportation in the United States. So I talked to my girlfriend about it, but she got super upset because she says I shouldn't have read that because it was a personal thing from when I was a teenager. She was also mad that my reaction was something so as superficial as the level of train accuracy in her story. Am I the asshole?
what what a post. Like
It
to actually write that post.
I I need to look up what anarcharisms. I'm assuming it's a full. It's a type of train.
Is it
That
anachronism? Is that
anachronisms. There it is. Yep.
yeah, it's got it has to do with the like mechanical like mechanism of the
Gotcha.
or
Gotcha.
something. I'm just guessing. Uh
Um.
hold on,
So
I'm
here's
looking it
my
up.
take. Let me give you my take on this story. I am a history buff.
Oh,
Okay.
hold on, let me interrupt you real
Okay.
quick.
Okay.
An anachronism is a thing belonging or appropriate to a period other than in which it exists.
Okay. So that's
So
what he's
it was
saying. He was.
not proper technology for the time. That's so good.
Oh, so my take on this, right? Like, I am not a fictional story reader. I'm just not. Like, I'm not much
Yeah.
of a reader in general, but I am not. I'm not like Harry Potter's about as deep as I go, and I've not even read the books. I just watched the movies. But like as far as like fictional books, like it's just not my thing. But I will tell you, if I saw something like if Harry Potter was trying to like put in something in time that was like historic, like they were trying to be historical with it, and it was like historically inaccurate, I would point it out 100%. Um, or like if I'm watching a World War II movie and it's like a type of gun that they're using is like that's not that gun wasn't even made until like the 60s, right? Like I would point something out like that 100%.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's technically not what they're asking, right? Like the "Am I
It
the
kind of
asshole" is
is
about
though.
well, it's whether or not you should read that or not, right?
Well,
That's the
and the fact that he pointed out, like she couldn't believe she was like mad about him pointing out the train accuracy.
okay.
Like
Uh,
I think that's I
it's
think because the question is, am I the asshole for pointing out historical inaccuracies in my girlfriend's writings?
I can't it's almost too funny
I
that but yes.
I feel like you would be in the same boat as me.
Yeah, I mean, look, I it's tough because I think I probably still am, like, more of a cynic at heart. So, like, I'm very drawn to, like, something being unbelievable and being like, "That's just not possible." Like, what,
Yeah,
like that kinda
that's
thing.
how I yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's where my head went for you. Like,
So, I definitely am that way. So, like, I'm very much a realist and a cynic in that way. But on the side of, should you even open the file or not, I'm very much in the, like, I think ignorance is bliss in a situation like this. Like, if you found a secret file
100%.
on Danielle's computer, I think you just leave that box closed. You know what I
I
mean?
I I don't disagree with that. I do. It's almost like you don't know what you don't know, right? Um and sometimes the things you don't know are you don't know for a reason, right?
Yeah.
I don't think we don't it's, unfortunately, my wife is a bona fide detective, so there's really not a lot of secrets in our relationship. I'm very, she's very open about things. I sometimes can select truths that I tell, as like I like to say, she eventually figures them out. So we literally don't have any secrets. So but I would say if we did, right, like yeah, leave it closed, leave that box closed. That's only going to cause problems. It clearly did for him. He was probably thinking like, oh, I'm going to read this, and it just it turned out like she was mad that he opened it, and then then he had the the balls to point out inaccuracies in the story.
I mean, I think if you do open it and read it, you may as well, like, be on you know what I mean? Like, if you stumble upon that, be like, "Hey, honey, I think, this could be better if you use the time appropriate trains
Yeah,
in
I
this
think you need to
scene."
go back and find out what trains were, in the antebellum South periods.
Yeah.
Like,
It's do some research, right? Like,
but I would do that. Like if I somehow stumbled upon that, I would be like, yeah, that's not right, right? Just by the way, I did open this file and this is not correct.
I
Like,
think it's just like our that speaks to our lack, I think, of, self-preservation skills more than anything.
yeah, I think so. Yeah. Oh God, I
Jeez.
love those. I love
Oh,
those posts. They're so good. There's
dude,
some really, really good ones.
they'll pop up on, like, Instagram or whatever when you're scrolling, and they almost always stop me in my tracks. I don't read all of them because,
Always.
like, from the beginning if it's gonna be, like, a shitty one or, like, a banger of one.
Oh,
But every time I see it, I'm like, "Oh, yep, we're stopping the scroll on that one."
Yeah, they like here's another one. Like I'm not gonna read the whole thing, but like the headline for it. Am I the asshole for using my wife's $400 hair dryer on my balls? like, like so good. Like I can read them for days, like days. Like I have to tell myself like you can only read a couple and you got to get off. Like because I could
Yeah.
just sit there for hours and hours and hours and read these.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Man, that was good. That you know what? Shout out to you. Thank you for lifting my spirits tonight. I'm in a much better mood than I was when we jumped on. So uh,
Uh,
between that question and just general Stampede Week excitement, I think I'm back now. I've
nice.
risen.
Let's
Yeah.
go.
Thank you. And of course, thank you to everybody out there listening, watching, whatever you are doing. Appreciate you. Please subscribe, rate, and review of the show, share it around, hit the like button, all that stuff. And good fan mail tonight. So shout out to Jeff and Kent for sending that over. Anybody else who wants to send us something, that link is always in the show description. So it is Stampede week. Hopefully next week we're talking. One of the two of us is a champion. Would be great to get a nice 1-2 podium finish, but we'll see if
Whew.
we can get there.
I think our friendship can handle that. Maybe.
It could. Yeah, we can dream. We can dream. Maybe we just we get to the last hole and we're like, you know what?
Let's
We're just
just
gonna
have
split the
it.
winnings.
The,
Good
the
match.
competitor in me could not do that though. I'd
No.
rather take a fat L in front of everybody than do that.
Yeah, no, honestly it would be so much fun. That's what really I think what it
Yeah,
would come down to. So
yeah. We
all
can only
right.
hope.
Anyway, until next time, everybody. Cheers.
See ya.